Hey, what's up guys? Sean here, and I hope you're staying safe and you're doing okay amidst this crazy pandemic that's going on. I really wanted to talk today about something a little different than my typical financial videos. I want to talk today about how in the midst of the sheer panic and fear and anxiety, tension, depression, all of these crazy emotions that's going on with so many of us, how we can take those and actually begin living day to day in a life of fulfillment, happiness, abundance, and empowerment to really take the situation and really make the most of it, the best that we can. And I get it, this is such a scary time for so many people, and it's something that very few people have ever faced in their lifetime. So many people are in a situation right now where they have no idea how they're gonna pay for food, basic essentials, how they're going to even stay afloat. And that is scary. Maybe you've lost your job, your hours are cut, and the whole economy is like on halt right now. So how do we go from this fear and anxiety and just that scaredness and actually begin overcoming this and living that fulfillment, that happiness and abundance every single day, no matter what your situation is? Because maybe you're not worried about paying bills, but even with that, you're still worried. You're living day to day in your place, and you're trying to ask, like, what is life about? What is my purpose? Like, what does all this mean? We're all being trialed in some way or another, financially, health, finances, our mental well-being, all these things. But before we get started, make sure you smash that like button for me, hit the subscribe button, the little notification bell, and let's hop into it. So how do we do this? I want to make this as simple and quick as possible because I could go into hours and hours and hours, but this is something that I see with so many clients that I'm coaching, even with myself I've had to overcome, and so many people I've seen online. We're all trying to figure this out. This is a whole different situation for so many of us. Well, I do think there's a few steps that you can take that really will guarantee that every single day you live with excitement, abundance, and just overall prosperity and a sense of empowerment for the future, that you can that you're no longer becoming a manager of your day-to-day events, but you're becoming a creator of your future, and that you can take this situation and make the most of it and really pave a new path for yourself. The very first thing is you just got to take a deep breath and just relax for a quick second. And I know that's hard because for some of you, you're like, I can't even pay my bills right now. How am I going to relax? Listen, there's one thing that is certain about the human species and all this stuff, is that no matter what, we always find a way to survive. When it comes down to survival and death, we always find a way. That's what our brain is designed to do. It is designed to survive. So take a deep breath and understand that, hey, it's going to be okay. Like, just, relax for a second. We've got to get to a better state before we can begin making change. The second thing that we need to do is that we have to make a decision. So now you're taking a deep breath, you've got to make a decision that, look, I've got to change. This has to change. And I'm not talking about the change of this virus and what's going on, because that you cannot control. But you yourself have to make a change. You have to make a change in the actions that you're taking, and you have to make a change in the way in which you're going about your day and your overall psychology. Listen, life can change in a moment, that the instant you make a decision with your life. Decisions make and break our future. And when you can finally get to the point where you say, you know what, that's it, I quit, I do no more, I'm making that change, that's when you begin opening up the possibilities for creating a future for yourself. And we're gonna kind of talk about some steps on how you do that. But it doesn't matter if you try to do some steps. If you haven't truly decided that you're ready to make a change, it's not going to happen. So number two is make the decision that you are going to change this situation, and you're going to do everything within your control to make sure that your future is fully empowered and ready to go. Number three is you've got to get yourself into a morning routine. I know we hear this all the time. It's like morning routine, do a morning routine. And, you watch videos online about the billionaire's routine. It's talking about like the breakfast that they eat and like all this stuff. And that's great. You want to have a routine. But the one thing that a routine should do, and this is the single goal of what a routine should be, is that it should put you into a physical state of empowerment. It should put you in a mental state of gratitude. That is the whole purpose of a morning routine. It's a physical state of empowerment and a mental state of gratitude. Here's the reason being. If you're truly grateful, you can't live in fear at the same time. Okay, you cannot have two conflicting emotions like that. But we can't start with gratitude first, because some people are like, well, I hear this all the time. I see it online all the time. It's like, I'm trying to be grateful, but yet I can't. Well, of course you can't be grateful because you're not in a positive physical state. Listen, it's much easier to manipulate our physical body and our biochemistry than it is our mind. So if you're really going to create a new sense of, change in the way that you feel, don't sit there first by trying to just be grateful for something. Move, get yourself physically empowered. So how do you do that? There's breath work that you can do. Do some power walks in the living room. If you're able to walk outside around your neighborhood, then go for a power walk. But walk with certainty, move with certainty. Change the way that you speak, change the way that you breathe. Breathe fully, speak powerfully. Things as simple as breath changing and vocabulary changing and the way in which we're speaking can change the way that we feel. I mean, if I sit here and I'm like, okay, so I want to talk about how we can get really motivated. And for the next 1,000 hours, we're going to sit here and talk about how to get motivated. And of course not, guys, that's not motivating. I myself, when I talk like that, I'm not motivated. I'm like, holy crap, how long is this going to go on for? Change the way that you speak, change your movements, change them into powerful states. Our physical body, when you put yourself in a state of physical empowerment repeatedly, our brain begins to waken up. It opens its potential for change. It tells our body that, like, hey, it's time to wake up. It's time to get moving. Okay, it doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's not. So do some physical exercise first. Put yourself in a state of certainty physically. Change the way you speak. And then you work on your mind. Do gratitude work. What are the 3 things you're most grateful for? What are 3 things that you're really excited about? What are 3 things that you're grateful that you're going to achieve in the future? Give future thanks to it. If you want to achieve $1 million one day, say that and say thank you for it, that you've already obtained it. But you got to do some mental work there. What we focus on is what we feel, and that's the next thing, is that we got to change our focus. What we focus on is what we feel. A lot of times we get stuck in our feelings because we're constantly thinking about the things that aren't going right. Of course you're not feeling good when all you think about is all the things in life that are not going well. There's one thing that's for certain. Everything that's right and everything that's wrong is both available to us. We decide what we focus on a day-to-day basis. And if I choose to focus on the things that are going right, even when 99% of the stuff that's going wrong, I will begin living in a more positive state. So make sure you find the things that are going well. Focus on changing the meaning that you place in those things. Events are simply events. It doesn't matter what's happening to us. Those are simply events. It's the meaning that we place behind those things that completely changes how we feel on a day-to-day basis. So you've got to change the meaning. The next one is you've got to change the rules for happiness. Now, I love this one. I was just talking to somebody about this earlier on a session, and they were really struggling with their parents and negativity and all these things. And I told her the reason why you're so upset right now is because your rules are not being met. What do I mean by that? Every single one of us has a blueprint for how life should be in order to feel happy, in order to feel successful, in order to feel loved, in order to feel content. Any feeling. We all have a set of rules of how life should look. It's those expectations of how life should be. And when our current reality does not match those rules, that's when we begin to feel angry, frustrated, sad, depressed, all these things. So sometimes what we need to do is we just need to change the rules in which that we have for life. So right now we're frustrated because we're like, I should be out working, I should be making money, I should be able to pay my bills, I should have this much in the bank, I shouldn't be struggling, I work too hard for this. All these different rules that we have. And when we have these rules and our reality does not meet that, that's when we get frustrated, that's when we get angry. We've got to change those rules so that we can win no matter what is happening. So sit down and analyze those rules that you have for your life and figure out which rules are serving me, which ones empower me, and which ones are disempowering me, and change those. You got to change your rules. The next thing you need to do is you need to now that you've changed your rules, you've changed your physical state, you've changed your mental state, you've changed the meaning that you placed on things. You should be feeling more empowered. Take those actions. Start doing some major goal setting. Listen, I know you're thinking like goal setting. My only goal is just to survive right now. I'm not even worried about getting ahead. I just want to survive. No one is ever inspired by maintenance. Maintenance is not inspiring. And I get it. I understand that right now people are so worried and scared about even just paying rent that the idea or the notion of getting ahead financially or physically or in our relationships or life in general seems like, I'm not worried about that. I'm just trying to survive. Well, that in and of itself is part of the problem. When you're being backed into a corner, the last thing you do is just put your hands up and do nothing. You do have to put your hands up. You got to guard yourself, but then you've got to fight back. You've got to plunge forward. Whenever you feel like you got to do constant defending, that is when you need to plunge forward and attack and think expansion. So you got to do some goal setting. Inspire yourself with large goals. Think about possibilities. We are inspired when we create, not when we maintain. So while we do have to have some form of maintenance in life, if we're going to begin feeling inspired and fulfilled and feeling prosperous, we've got to start thinking larger. What are the possibilities? I understand that there's some things that aren't possible. Well, what could be possible if you decide to pursue it? What could you do despite not being able to go outside your home? Guys, we live in 2020, not 1820. We have the internet. We have so many different things that we can do to really begin creating a new path for ourselves. Maybe you have a certain type of job. This is a new time to learn a new skill set, online, virtual, begin earning more money. This is a time when you finally can get to the physical fitness, lose that weight that you've always wanted to, all these different things. This is the time. We have the time. And if you think expansion, if you think really large, your goals should be so big that the minute you start to talk about them, the minute you think about them, you feel pulled. You feel excited. You feel like ready to go conquer. That's when you know that your goals are large enough. And it's different for every person. For some people, it's just, I just want to get a basic job and I want to pay the bills. If that is truly inspiring to you, if that's what really gets you going and makes you, when you talk about it, you get so excited, then that's fine. But if it's not, then, and it's just thinking like, I just got to maintain. If it's just a survival thought, then that's not right. I don't care how large it is. If it's, I want to rule the world, I want to have a million apartment complexes, if I want to earn $100,000 a year, $1 million a year, if I want to have 6% body fat, whatever it is, find a goal that really excites you. And the next thing is rinse and repeat. Do it daily. The difference between people who achieve what they want and those who do not has nothing to do with how smart you are, what family you come from, or having some genetic gift. Yes, of course, some of those things can help. But there are a lot of people who are in those situations who do not make anything great of themselves despite having all of the resources and the tools, quote unquote, available to them. But remember, it's not about having the right resources, it's about resourcefulness. And that comes from simply doing simple things every single day that most people overlook, but you commit to daily. When you change the way that you feel and you go from negative and angry, depressed to feeling positive, you're more likely to take the right actions. When you take the right actions consistently day to day, you begin creating a new pathway for yourself. And that is how you're going to create a new future. Anyways, I hope this helped you out. I know I kind of went through that really fast, but I could talk hours about this stuff. I work on this with my clients all the time. If you want help in this thing, reach out. I've got my email below in the description box. Make sure you reach out if you want to get some coaching or need some help. Also follow my Facebook group. Shaun Surgeon, I give free coaching advice as well. It would mean the world to me. Also hit that subscribe button, smash that like button if this gave you some value. It means the world to me. I really hope that you are okay in this situation. I know it's tough. When I say all this, it's not to take away from the fact that this isn't going to be challenging. I'm not saying that this is going to be easy. Of course not, but nothing great has ever been accomplished by easy things. Remember, life is not happening to you, it's happening for you. This is a character building phase. If you can get through this, think about how much stronger you're going to be. Being able to survive something like this means that you're going to be able to crush the future when things are back to normal. So if you can excel in these times, think about how great you're going to excel when times are easier. So keep pushing, keep that head up, reach out if you need me. Like I said, I got my email below, leave some comments below, and stay safe.